A lady walks into a pharmacy, approaches the pharmacist, and looks him straight in the eye. "I'd like to buy some cyanide," she says. The pharmacist, shocked, asks, "Why on earth would you need cyanide?" The lady replies, "I need it to poison my husband." The pharmacist's eyes widen, and he says, "Good Lord, I can't sell you cyanide to kill your husband. That's against the law. I'll lose my license, we'll both go to jail. There's no way I can do that." The lady calmly pulls out a picture from her purse and shows it to him. It's a photo of her husband in bed with the pharmacist's wife. The pharmacist takes one look at the picture, sighs, and says, "Oh, well, now that's a different story. You didn't tell me you had a prescription." As Jack was about to marry Jill, his father gave him some valuable advice. "Son, when I first married your mother, I learned an important lesson. When we got home from the ceremony, I stripped her down, took off my pants, and handed them to her. 'Try these on,' I said. She tried them on, but they were way too big for her. 'I can't wear these,' she told me. I replied, 'Of course they're too big for you, because I wear the pants in this family, and I always will.' Since that day, son, there hasn't been a single issue in our marriage." So, Jack, eager to follow his father's advice, tried the same thing on his wedding night. He stripped Jill down, handed her his pants, and asked her to try them on. Jill took one look at the pants, took off her panties, and handed them to Jack. "Try these on," she said with a grin. Jack hesitated but slipped them on. They were way too tight. Frustrated, he muttered, "What's the point of this? I can't even fit into your panties." Jill smirked and said, "Exactly. And if you don't change your attitude, you never will." An elderly couple noticed they were becoming more forgetful, so they decided to see the doctor. The doctor recommended they start writing things down to help them remember. When they got home, the wife asked her husband to bring her a bowl of ice cream. "You might want to write it down," she said. The husband replied, "No need. I can remember. A bowl of ice cream," she then added, "and whipped cream on top." Again, he said, No, I'll remember. Ice cream with whipped cream." Then she said, "And a cherry on top." "Got it," he said confidently. Ice cream, whipped cream, and a cherry on top. So he heads to the kitchen. 30 minutes later, he returns with a plate of eggs and bacon. His wife stares at the plate, then looks at him and asks, "Where's the toast?" A man goes to his doctor for a checkup, and after some tests, the doctor tells him, "Well, you're in good shape overall, but I think you could benefit from some more exercise." The man, who's in his late 50s, sighs and says, "Doc, I don't know. I've tried it all. I tried running, but I get too winded. I tried swimming, but I'm just not a fan of getting wet. I even tried yoga, but my flexibility isn't what it used to be." The doctor thinks for a moment and says, "Okay, how about this? You don't need to do any crazy workouts, but I want you to take up a hobby that keeps you moving. Try something like gardening." "Gardening?" the man asks, a little confused. "What does gardening have to do with exercise?" "Well," the doctor says, "gardening will get you up, moving, bending, stretching, and lifting. Plus, it can be very relaxing." The man thinks about it for a minute and then says, "All right, I'll give it a try. But if I end up getting injured from pulling weeds, you're the one I'm blaming." A week goes by, and the man returns to the doctor. "Doc, you were right. Gardening is great exercise. I've been out there every day, pulling weeds, digging, planting, and stretching." The doctor smiles. "That's great to hear. So, how do you feel?" The man hesitates. "Well, I feel better physically, but I've developed a little problem." "A problem?" the doctor asks, concerned. "What kind of problem?" The man leans in and whispers, "I think I'm starting to develop a crush on my garden gnome." The doctor looks puzzled. "What do you mean, a crush?" "Well," the man says with a grin, "I'm out there all day taking care of the plants and flowers, and every time I look at that little gnome, I just get this funny feeling in my stomach. He's always smiling, standing there so proud, and it's like he's just waiting for me." The doctor stares at him for a moment, then bursts out laughing. "That's not a problem, my friend. You've just discovered a new hobby. But if you start sending flowers to that gnome, then we might have to have a chat." The man grins and says, Well, maybe I'll just get him a lawn chair so he can sit with me while I drink my coffee. At least he's better company than the weeds. A middle-aged couple had finally figured out how to send and receive texts on their cell phones. One day, feeling particularly romantic, the wife decided to send her husband a sweet message while she was out having coffee with a friend. She typed, "If you're sleeping, send me your dreams. If you're laughing, send me your smile. If you're eating, send me a bite. If you're drinking, send me a sip. If you're crying, send me your tears. I love you." The husband, who was more practical than poetic, texted back, "I'm on the toilet. Please advise." An old man went to the doctor for a checkup, only to find the clinic jam-packed with patients. After waiting patiently behind 50 others, his turn finally came. As he stepped into the room, he froze in embarrassment. The doctor was a young lady. Sensing his hesitation, the lady doctor smiled and said kindly, "Sir, there's nothing to be shy about. Tell me your problem, and I'll check it myself." Hearing this, the old man said, "Well, my wife says my, package doesn't taste good." A young lady was enjoying a sunny day at the beach, confidently strolling along in her bikini. As she relaxed on her towel, she couldn't help but notice an old man nearby staring at her intently. Feeling uncomfortable, she decided to move to a different spot. But to her annoyance, she soon realized the old man had followed her, still staring. Frustrated, she decided to take action and filed a complaint. The case went to court, and the judge asked the old man, "Sir, why were you staring at this young woman?" The old man, without missing a beat, responded, "Your Honor, I was just being polite. I only looked at the parts she had covered." A handsome man checked into a hotel and asked to speak with the boss. The man, "Is room 39 available?" The boss, "Yes, it is." The man, "Great. I'd like to book it." The boss, "Certainly." Before heading to the room, the man made an unusual request. "Could you provide me with a black knife, a white thread exactly 39 centimeters long, and an orange weighing 73 grams? Though puzzled, the boss agreed. That night, strange noises began to emanate from room 39. The sounds of wild animals, clinking dishes, and furniture being dragged filled the air. Being in the room next door, the boss couldn't sleep a wink. In the morning, the man handed over the key, paid his bill, and left a generous tip for the bellboys, smiling as he walked out. The boss, unable to contain his curiosity, inspected room 39. To his shock, the room was spotless. The black knife, white thread, and orange were neatly placed on the table, untouched. A year later, the same man returned. Once again, he booked room 39 and requested the same items. That night, the bizarre noises returned, louder than before. Determined to uncover the truth, the boss stayed up all night. But when morning came, the man checked out as usual, paid his bill, and left with a smile. The boss was baffled. He spent months researching the possible meanings behind the man's requests: the room number, the black knife, the white thread, the orange. But no answers came. Finally, on March 1st of the following year, the man returned. He booked room 39 and repeated his peculiar requests. This time, the boss couldn't take it anymore. When the man checked out the next morning, the boss approached him. The boss, "Sir, I'm begging you. I must know, what's the secret behind the noises in room 39? The man, "If I tell you, do you swear never to tell anyone?" The boss, "I swear on my life." The man leaned in and revealed the secret. To this day, the boss has kept his promise. And the secret remains a mystery. A man walks into a bar and sees an old friend he hasn't seen in years. He sits down next to him, and after some catching up, he says, "So, how's life treating you?" The friend sighs and says, "Well, it's been a roller coaster, to be honest. I recently got a new job, moved into a new house, and adopted a dog." "Sounds like a lot." The man says, "How's the dog working out?" "Well," the friend replies, "it's been a bit of a challenge. I adopted this dog from the shelter, and they told me it was a well-trained dog. Turns out it's not exactly as advertised." "What do you mean?" asks the man, intrigued. "Let me tell you," the friend says. "This dog is so lazy, it won't even get up to eat its food. It just stares at the bowl like it's waiting for a miracle." The man laughs. "That's strange. What have you tried to do about it? Well, I tried putting the food in a different spot every time, thinking it might get excited, but no luck, the friend says, shaking his head. I even tried putting on its leash and taking it for a walk to see if that would help, but the dog just sat down in the middle of the street and refused to budge. The man raises an eyebrow. Did you ever try talking to the dog? The friend looks up. Talking to it? I tried that too. I said, "Come on, buddy, let's go. You're gonna get some fresh air. You're gonna love it." The man nods knowingly. And? The friend shrugs. The dog just looked at me like I was the crazy one. It's like he was saying, "I'm fine here, thanks." The man laughs out loud. Well, at least he's got personality, so what are you going to do? The friend leans back in his chair. I'm thinking of taking it to a dog psychologist. Maybe the dog just needs to talk through some things.